Hello, hello. Hi, welcome. I am Sylvia Hayes, and you are watching Good News at Primetime. Whew, it is hot in here. Yeah, well, out there, not that hot in here, but it is hot. It is hot, hot, hot. And so many people are suffering from the heat, exhaustion, and a lot of them don't even know it. They're having symptoms of heat overload and don't even know it. So we're going to talk about that today. Today's topic is beating the heat. Beating the heat because it is hot. And a lot of kids, they're out there suffering. I mean, getting serious tans. I saw my grandkids last week. Man, they got a serious tan. I'm going, whoa. I think they've got too much heat, too much sun. You want your kids to be out there and get that sunlight, get the sun because kids, I don't know if you noticed this or not, but they're just like plants. The plants, you put them out in the sun, they grow and do well. Kids are the same way in the summertime. That's why they grow so much during the summer because they're out there getting that sun, that vitamin D. The vitamin D is very good for you. You need that for your bones and your health, your mentality. You need the sun, but you don't need a whole lot of it. 10 minutes of it right now is all you need. You don't want to get out there and get burnt because you can burn your skin. Then later on, all that heat and all that burn can cause you to have skin cancer. You don't want that either. Okay? So get just enough sun and come back in. Okay? You want to keep your body cool so you won't overdo it. Before we get started on our topic, we're going to talk about my book, Power Thoughts, Empowering You to Be Successful in Life. That book is really a good book. I've had teachers now, using this book as part of their curriculum. I've had a business owner, business manager, should I say, to use this book as part of, I guess, the teaching for the employees, because all the employees had to read the book and know what was in it. So, and he thought it was a good idea, and things in there was good because it helps build the morale for his employees. So I'm tickled to death over this book. You guys got to get it. Power Thoughts, Empowering You to Be Successful in Life. You can Google the book, Power Thoughts by Sylvia Hayes, and get it that way, or you can go to my website, aandkproductions.com. aandkproductions.com. You can get that book. It will enhance your life tremendously. It will. So without any further ado, we're going to go ahead and bring on my co-host so we could talk about this heat. Hey, Reggie, how are you doing?
It's hot. It's hot. It's hot. It's hot. To the good news audience, everybody out there, it's hot, but still, we will survive. I encourage everyone to like, share, and subscribe over here. When I think about the heat, Square Mile Media Atlanta, but when I think about the heat, uh, it was hot when it got started. It's going to get hotter before it gets through. There's temperatures in some places as high as 126 degrees. They say out
Mm,
there in the middle of the United States, it's about 100 at nighttime, 105. I think somewhere out in Arizona and Colorado's burning up. Las Vegas and Nevada, all that area is burning up. So it's so many hot spots. And then you look at the cities, Chicago, New York, all that asphalt. Well, we don't have to look far. We don't have to look for it right here in Atlanta. Man, it was so hot today, and we seen people out there cooking eggs and bacon right there on the sidewalk. It's hot.
ooh, yeah, it is hot. And you don't want to be bare feet out there either. Not on the asphalt. That'll burn your feet big time.
Yes.
You don't
You
want to
know,
do that.
I have to ask the question. I don't know. Back in the day, and I was just talking to some people. I've been outside. A lot of times I'm outside, but I make sure I hydrate, drink a lot of water. It's best to drink some warm water early, early, early. Get your organs saturated, because you can drink cold water and go out there and fall out. You'll fall out.
Hmm.
You drink some cold water, cold beer, cold soda, something like that. So you got to gradually get this body ready for the heat, ready for the heat. But I was talking to some people, back in the day, uh, they say it's been hot. Okay. I know we talk about global warming and things like that, but it was hot back during my grandmother's and my mother's day. Matter of fact, my mom could be in the house. It was 97 degrees. You almost had to tell older people to put it. They'll turn on a fan and they'll take a little paper fan and fan with it, but they can stand the heat a lot better than this new generation. I don't think the new generation, whoever's coming after us, they are not weather tested. They are not heat tested. They got to have AC. Back in the
Yeah,
day,
because they've been
you could go
spoiled.
without having AC in your car. You just roll your
Yeah.
windows down and just let it blow. You go to your home. They not too many people, unless they're trying to save some money on the power bill, can can live without this AC, air conditioning.
Yeah.
So this future generation, because it's gonna get hotter, uh, they got to minimize their trips going outside. Where we used to play outside and stuff like that. You won't see a lot of kids out there playing now. They falling out like flies.
Hmm. Yeah, you're right. And the thing is, and then they'll come in the house when they out there and they come back and drink sodas. And what they don't understand, those sugary drinks is
Ooh.
not good for you. No, I found that out when several years ago I was doing a movie. They took us all to South Georgia somewhere. Don't ask me where. I don't know. It was way out in the boondoggles where no
Wow.
man land. But we could not have sodas. And those people who caught themselves bringing drinks with them, the director confiscated them. But
Whoa.
somebody sneaked and gave their grandchild one, and that child got sick and had to leave the set.
Mm.
Because she drank that soda. And they tell you don't drink these sodas because it will make you sick. She drank it, got sick, had to leave the set. No more
Wow.
movie for her. But they were giving us tea. I think they were giving us tea. I remember lemon water for sure to keep hydrated. You know, Everybody had to have their own lemon water or
Yeah.
just plain water. You know,
Well,
but no
you know,
sodas.
you look at so you really find out that sodas have no nutritional value. There are a couple of things that you can eat when it's hot. One of the things now, a lot of times you got to hold back on some of that pork. If you eat pork, if you eat pork, bacon, sausage, and all this stuff, you really got to hold back a little bit because there
Mm,
tends to be blood pressure rising up. That's where people getting heat stroke, sunstrokes, heat exhaustion, all from the food you're eating. So we have to be more careful about our food intake. It's a good time to pop up on the vegetables. Believe it or not, and especially uh, for older people and younger people, watermelon. Matter of fact, if you got to
mm-hmm.
get a soul pumpkin, as they call them down south, they call them soul pumpkin. But you get you a soul pumpkin, and you're gonna stay hydrated. Something about watermelon that holds the water. Uh, it retains water. Okay,
Yeah.
and it's
Yep.
got natural sugars, so all that type stuff. So a watermelon is a powerful uh, food added, food to have during this time. Make sure you get some watermelon, peaches. Peaches are good. South Georgia peaches are good. Uh, a lot of stuff, and then even with water, a lot of people drink coconut water. Coconut nut water hydrates a lot better than regular water because regular waters, believe it or not, a lot of time has been chlorified with so much chlorine until a lot of the nutritional values of water has been removed. A lot of the minerals, not there. So if you don't have like alkaline type waters or, that type stuff, you're not going to get those things replenished that your body gets rid of because of the heat. Because when the heat comes, your body gets rid of a lot of stuff. So you eat, and
Mm-hmm.
then you got to replace all these minerals uh, that
Yeah.
the body has exhausted through heat.
Yeah, and you know what? In the watermelon, when you want something cold, cold watermelon.
Oh
That
yeah,
is so refreshing. And I love cold fruit because right now that's what I be craving, cold fruit. So I keep have watermelon in the refrigerator and just cut me a slice off and eat it is so refreshing.
oh
And just having other cold fruits to eat, watermelon, what are peaches, cold cucumbers are good.
yeah,
you know, just cold fruits and vegetables, and on top of that, fruits and vegetables in the raw is good for you right now because you don't have to cook it. So
right.
when you're cooking, it's producing more heat in the house. So if
Ooh,
you have more salads, that would be good. And if you do have to cook a meal for 2 or 3 days. That way you just put it in the microwave and heat it up. Use your air fryer and stuff like that to keep from generating more heat in the house.
right.
But I discovered this cold fruit and frozen fruit because sometimes you freeze up apples or freeze stuff and it's good and good
Well,
refreshing.
like
Strawberries, frozen strawberries.
strawberries are good. Well, like you say, tomatoes. You look at a lot of vegetables and that are uh, have a good water content. Peaches,
Mm-hmm.
apples do too. That's another one. But peaches, when you bite into a good peach, kind of a ripe peach, you can feel the nutrients coming into your body. Watermelon, cantaloupe. Cantaloupe is a good fruit to have. So during this time period, we have to look at those things that will help us. Uh, if you packing a lunch for the
Honeydew,
kids, what's that?
honeydew.
Honeydew melons, yes, yes. Because if you packing lunch for your kids and they're at school and you got to talk to your kids, we got young kids. A lot of times they don't know if it's hot. They got band practice, they out there in the heat. If they got any sports they playing, they out there in the heat. And
Mm-hmm.
sometimes they'll just keep going until they fall out. And we're finding that a lot of athletes, a lot of young athletes, this is why it's imperative that we take care of ourselves, okay? And your family, let them know. But hydration is one of the key things. Just getting a lot of water, even at night getting water in your system. You know, I know you sometimes you got to go to the bathroom. As you get older, you don't want to be drinking a lot of water at night because you might have accident. But you know, you could uh, dehydrate overnight, especially if you don't have AC or stuff like that.
Yeah, yeah, you can. And a lot of times people don't realize that even though they may not see sweat on their body, it's still dehydrating. Their body's still dehydrating. The water's coming from their bodies anyway. So you
Mm,
still need to hydrate. Just hydrate, hydrate, hydrate. Not with sodas. and,
hmm
and caffeine is another one. What is is a hot dehydrator.
Oh yes,
Caffeine, what is it? Sugar, coffee,
coffee.
stuff like that.
Yes.
Alcohol,
Oh yeah.
alcohol would dry you out too. So you
Yeah.
don't want those things in the summertime, because it will dehydrate you. And people,
And this, like you say, we have to replenish some of the minerals that leave the body. Even salt, even though they don't encourage you to eat a lot of salt, a lot of people expel a lot of salt when they sweat. Okay, a lot of the
hmm
salt starts to leave your body. You know, you could have a double whammy because you start to expel a lot of these liquids, and people say, "Man, my feet went down since it's hot," but you don't realize that's affecting some other parts of your body because you're not hydrated enough. Your kidneys got to work harder. If there's, it's just like running a car. If you don't have any coolant, oil inside the car, what's that stuff? Antifreeze.
antifreeze, uh-huh.
You say, man, I got a full tank of gas. I just changed my oil. But if you don't have a coolant system inside the car, it's gonna overheat and you're gonna stop on the road. So
Yeah.
You have to do the same thing with your body. You have to make sure that you stay hydrated, and you got to make sure people around you stay hydrated. During this time period, people just fall out. They'll be walking, and whether you young or old, you hit that pavement or you hit that dirt, you're gonna have a real memorable experience. Okay, and usually if you're standing up, you're gonna fall backward. Bam. So I remember there was a guy. He was waiting on the bus, and he fell backwards. But luckily, somebody was there to catch him. He had stood up
Mm.
there on the bus stop and got exposed to all that sun and that heat. Even though he was not in direct sunlight, the heat. See, you got the heat. They got certain things. They say we got wet heat and you got dry heat. If you ever been in a sauna, you know they have the wet steam, the wet heat, and then they got the dry heat. Now, if you stay in the heat too long, it will just, well, for lack of a better word, it'll suck all the nutrients out of your body because your body's going to
Yeah,
expel all
all
that
your
stuff.
energy.
Next thing you know, you'll be real weak. You'll be really weak. Even if you sit in your car, there are people that sit in their cars for a long period of times. Well, you're gonna have to get yourself ready because you know, especially if you don't have air conditioning, it's too hot to be doing it. It's too hot to leave your kids in the cars, your pets in the cars. And that's another thing we gotta think about. You gotta hydrate your pets. I see people and
Hmm.
they'll lock you up. They might lock you up quicker for not taking care of your animals. You got to make sure
Yeah,
they
and
got
I
the
tell you
proper water.
something else too. If you're taking water pills, you
Oh,
know, you
okay.
might you might want to lighten up if you're drinking sodas and stuff because
Okay.
the water pill is taking water off your body, plus the sodas and alcohol and coffee is dehydrating you as well.
Mm,
So if you're doing all of that, you might just take too much electrolytes and water out of your body. So you
mm.
might want to lighten up on that, either lighten up on those diuretic pills or lighten up on those sodas and alcohol
Yeah.
because one or
Oh,
the other is going to kill you, put you
mm,
out. So
yeah.
you need to replenish the electrolytes in your body because when you're sweating out electrolytes. You want to replenish that. So watermelon, coconut water, like you said, those things are good. Electrolytes is plenty of electrolytes in coconut water. So you want to do that.
And we
Yeah.
have to be careful. I know a lot of times people not gonna call their names, but all these sports drinks, all these sports drinks are not good for the body. Okay.
Mm-mm.
People see the athletes juggling down this and juggling down that, but uh, you can kind of think that that's gonna be enough. But you go out there, I don't care how much of a sports drink that you drink. If you hadn't hydrated the body properly with some type of water, you're gonna have some problems. Now you might survive, but you won't be able to move around and operate in optimum condition. And I
Yeah,
know,
those things have sugar in them too. And
yes.
I thought, I was when I was getting off the sodas, I said, okay, let me drink these sports drinks. I'm not to call their name. And I was drinking it and I would get so tired. I'm going, why am I so tired?
Oh,
And
yes.
then I started reading the label. It has sugar in it. No
Yep.
wonder, because it give me that boost and then it drains me at the end.
And
You know,
some people drink energy drinks during this time period because there's a tendency to get tired. So they say, oh man, let me go get that XYZ energy drink. Those little energy drinks, you get them from behind a little counter. They come in 30 different flavors. Then you got the energy
yeah,
drinks that are in the cooling section. Those drinks, they got taurine and all kind of stuff in them, and that causes the heart to overwork. If you don't have enough hydration in the heart, you have a heart attack more easily in these hot months than you do in the cold month. You can have a heart
yeah.
attack more easily because of what you're sticking in your mouth and putting down your throat.
And heat strokes.
Oh yes.
A lot of people be having heat strokes and don't even know they're having a heat stroke. A
Yep.
lot of people are suffering from heat exhaustion and don't even know it. Because like for instance, if you're like tired all the time right now, if you're just tired, why do I not have any energy? That's because you're dehydrated.
Mm,
If you start putting more water in your body, you'll get more energy. H2O, the O is oxygen. Got to remember that. So you put that oxygen in your body and it gives you more energy.
right.
So people got to remember that because being tired, um, weak, there are a lot of things that being dehydrated would do.
Yeah.
That heat,
You
will
know,
cause you to dizziness. People be getting
yeah.
dizzy and
Fall out.
passing out, throwing up,
Yeah.
just from heat exhaustion. So you got to keep your body intact because
And-
then there's the stroke,
oh
and
yeah.
the stroke messing with your mind. I mean, you can have brain damage and can also damage your organs and stuff if you have a heat stroke. So you
Yeah. You,
want to hydrate. And another thing, if somebody has a heat stroke or passing out or something, you want to cool them off. If you have water, you can sprinkle on them or something like that. Go
yeah.
ahead and do that. Keep the body down, cool that body down, so make them feel better.
Well, they say lay them down, elevate the feet. If you got a towel, pat them dry. You do not want to give them ice or nothing immediately. Okay,
Mm,
that'll shock the body. So if you can get them, because you want to hydrate them first, so you get kind of warm, like tap water. You know what I'm saying?
uh-huh.
Because sometimes the shock of having, going through an extreme, a real cold substance entering the body. Just like when you eat ice cream and you get a brain freeze,
Yeah.
you can get the same thing, and it's not as easy or it's not as good for you as on a regular day. But if you got heat exhaustion and somebody gives you something real cold, that can shock the system. Okay, so you don't want to shock the system. So you want to gradually take them up, but you want to cool them off. You got a little spray bottle, you spray a little mist on them. They got all these fans and different things that you can have. If you're doing
Mhm.
any outdoor activity, I'm talking about watering flowers, cutting grass, washing cars, painting, construction work. You definitely want to be hydrated. You definitely want to take care of yourself. And if you're getting up on heights, there are many people in the area of construction. Yeah, I remember I was on a house. I was doing a roof for my mother, and it got real hot. Okay, now this is not,
Uh-huh.
and this just doing a couple years ago. So uh, I was blessed because I had my little water pouch up on the roof with me, and I
Mm.
felt myself, getting a little, and I was on the just sitting in it because the sun shifted, and when the sun shifted, it brought the heat off of that roof, and I would, I would, it's just like I was cooking like a crab in the thing, not even knowing it. Now, if I had rolled
Yeah.
off that roof, it would not have been a good day. So, if pay good attention if you're gonna get on some heights or anything when it's heat, because there's nothing to play with.
Yeah, even when you're just out working, if you feel yourself getting a headache, sometimes that's because you need water in your body.
Yeah,
I've discovered that one with myself when I'm working. When I
mm-hmm.
start getting a headache, I'm going, okay, it's time to hydrate. When I put that water in my body, I get better.
You're gonna feel
But
better.
a lot of
You
people,
I know we talking about the body. Outside of the body, the two biggest things that people have to deal with this heat. One is their home, their body, their home, and their transportation. Okay. During this time
mhm,
period, your home, you need to make sure your AC is working tight. Okay. This is, if your filters are jacked up, you're gonna have a hard day. This is a good time to make sure your ceiling fans, if you got them, uh sometimes I know some people just turn the ceiling fan on, just let it do what it do. Sometimes it's
yeah,
better to let the ceiling fans go in the opposite direction because it takes the heat up from the room. That'll cause people to have less electrical bills. That way, you're not having to spend all that money on electric bill. because a lot of reason that people suffer in their home is because of power, not having power. Electric bill shoot up for about $300-400. You might not have power next month, so you got to be thinking. Got to be thinking, how can I reduce the electric bill and stuff and still survive? A lot of people in whether it's apartment complex, their homes. If you got a big home and you got to cool it, you might have to figure out a way just to cool 1 or 2 rooms. Okay. They also
Yeah.
say if you got a basement and it's hot, you might want to move down in the basement, especially want to save some money, because it's always a little cooler down in the basement. There's always a little bit cooler in the basement, and then you got to take care of the house. Some people, if you got an unfinished basement, you got to worry about spider webs and all that type of stuff. But it's a lot cooler in your basement, especially if the power goes out. Especially if the power goes out with the grid like it's going. There are people, because of different things happening. The heat, it's affecting stuff. It's got people flooding in different countries because the heat. The heat is affecting generators, all this stuff, electrical power plants, and then that means that the down end consumer, people like you and I, it hadn't hit the United States that hard. But remember in Mississippi during the winter when that water was going out of control, when these power
Mm-hmm.
plants can't filter the water, can't do all this stuff, we back into an Armageddon type situation. All hell done broke loose. And then our cars, you got to make sure your car is running at optimum condition, tire pressure, making sure the air conditioning is checked out, making sure you got
Yeah.
oil. Because if you running that car and it don't have coolant, it don't have oil, they say the summer months are the telltale times of if your car is in good shape. Okay?
Yeah. And,
Because,
and yeah, I tell you something else too. With the air conditioner, you want to do a maintenance check on your air conditioner every year to
ooh,
keep it
yes.
up to par. Because some people they just run, and their heating unit or heating air unit. Some of them is the same thing, but you want to get a maintenance check on it every year and make sure everything is up to par on it. Change your air filters. If you change the air filters on your in your air conditioner, that will also let you get more heat. Your machine will run better if you do
Yes.
that. And I tell you something else: those who don't have air conditioner, or if their air conditioner's out, and if you in a room that has 2 walls, well, a window on this side and a window on this side, what you do, get a box fan, put it in one window, and turn it towards the outside, and have it blowing all of that air, the hot air in the house, blowing it out. And while it's blowing the hot air out, it'll be pulling the cool air in, and it'll cool off the house. That
Hmm.
was our air conditioner when I was a kid. We didn't have an air conditioner
But
when I was a kid.
well,
No, we had put a fan in one window, and have both of them open. One was pulling the air out while it was bringing in the other one. So, and it kept the house real
well,
cool.
well,
Yeah,
that's
so
kind of like natural ventilation.
yeah,
Just say it's hot and your power's out. Daytime they say pull the shades down, to keep the heat. That helps out.
yes,
Also, the if you got power, natural ventilation, like you say, when you find the flow of air in your home, there's a natural flow, and it's different times of day. You might have to put like a fan in a window, and it's blowing throughout the house, just keeping it cool. Like I said, back in the day, we didn't have AC, air conditioning. Okay,
right.
we had a and matter of fact, we didn't have fans in the room, but we had the screens. That's another thing. You got to make sure you got screens in your home so you don't get mosquitoes and bugs and all that type stuff. So spring cleaning comes in handy when this this heat wave goes, because you in your home, you want to do all you can to make sure you can survive in your home. Another thing, believe it or not, and I found this to be very effective. A lot of homes have a lot of glass. A lot of these newer homes, they
Hmm.
got all this glass. One of the things, uh, we install window film on a lot of homes. Okay, because that
Mm-hmm.
keeps the heat from just penetrating through. It keeps the furniture from fading, the carpet from fading, but it also reduces the amount of heat that's entering that home or building or whatever. Because one of the things, you know, paying a lot for power consumption. When you pay a lot for power consumption, you tend to want to cut back. So that's one way of reducing the amount of heat that's coming into your home. We have to, and we got to think about our seniors. A lot of times,
Mm-hmm.
you know, we would have to make my mom turn on the air conditioner. You know, that central heat and air. Now she got comfortable with the heater during the winter months, but during
Uh-huh.
the summer months, you know, she'd be in there, but her tolerance for the heat was kind of high. You know, she wouldn't be sweating or nothing. You know, older people uh, have a higher tolerance level, not all of them, but some of them, than a lot of the younger people. There are people that have to have $400-500 electric bills because their kids cannot handle the heat. You got to have that house at 68. I think they say keep it around 78. I think during the summer months. Now 78 degrees is tolerable. Okay, you know some
Yeah.
people you go in their home, it's like a freezer. You know, but if you can keep it around 78 degrees, and this goes back to maintenance on your home, a nice thermostat. They got all these environmentally friendly thermostats. Because just say you go to work you leave the house at 7 o'clock, and you come back with traffic and all that type of stuff. You're getting back in about 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock. Well, if you turn the AC off, if you turn it off completely, it's going to take a minute for it to get back up right. So you end up burning more electricity than you would if you on some type of thermostat system where it's
Yeah.
during the day, it shuts it down, it cuts off and it comes back, and by the time you come home, it's the house ain't burning up, because that's a drastic thing to go from, you leave a house. If you leave a house and you don't have the AC on and it's 110 out there every day, or just say somewhere between 100 and 110, when you get to the house, it's going to be in the 80s inside the house. Okay. Now,
Mm-hmm.
most folk, 80 degrees is enough, for you to know it's different. Now some people is going to reach the 90. When you start getting about 90 degrees in the house, you're going to have some problems. Okay.
Yeah.
Especially you got kids, they're going to be irritable, all this type stuff. You think you got road rage on the highway, you got temper tantrums, all kind of stuff causing the heat. So we have to really do some work on ourselves, our homes, and our cars. There are people doing the heat spree. Cars are overheating because they didn't put no antifreeze in the car. Tires are popping and busting because they run around, hadn't done the maintenance on the tires. Oil, because oil tends to burn because the engine already running hot. It's burning more oil. So you got to really, 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 really check all your body, your home, and your car. Your body, your home, and your car. Your body, your home, and your car. So you got to really check that out.
Yeah. Yeah. Most definitely. And they say that kids 4 and under, and they are the seniors 65 and over. They're the one who's affected the most by this heat. So we
Mm.
definitely got to take care of them because, like you said, kids do get fussy when they get hot. You
Oh,
know,
irritable. Yes.
and the
Yeah.
seniors, some of them they just can't deal with that heat.
Yeah.
So we have to take care of them and make sure things are right. And also, when you're in the car, a lot of time if you have a shield you can put in your window,
Oh,
that would
yes.
kind of block some of the heat also. Oh, and speaking of shields, in your house, if you have curtains, the backing on your curtains, I'm trying to think what it's called, but get the curtains with the backings on it that will reflect the heat.
Okay. Yes.
So yeah, so when that sun is coming through, and you keep your windows closed in the summertime, keep those curtains closed so that sun won't come through, because the sun again going to come through that window pane and burn you up. But if you
Oh,
keep
yeah.
the windows closed with that backing on your curtains, then that will keep the house a little bit cooler. You know,
Yeah.
so you got to remember that one too.
Yes. And again, inside your home, uh, you look at what can you do to stay cooler. Okay. Now it's different if you got a family, you got a young family that's active. Everybody's moving around the house. There's a tendency to use and consume more power. Like you might have to curb back on cooking. Like you said earlier,
Mm-hmm.
instead of getting on the stove, having all that heat rise up and build up, you might have to figure out ways to minimize that usage. A lot of people, smart appliances, a lot of people that are using smart appliances. Matter of fact, a lot of households have gotten away from the traditional stove. Okay. And they're
Yeah,
using air fryers and all this type stuff. So a lot of times we got to embrace the change, embrace technology,
yeah,
because, and we got to be smart thinkers. We got to plan all this stuff out. We got to rethink how we do it, because if you go to work, even if you work from home, there are people that work from home, and they found out that their AC bills is off to the roof. It's up there. You imagine people paying a 2,200 square foot home. They paying anywhere between, uh normally it's somewhere around maybe 200, for utilities. But when it starts to peak out seven, eight, $900, it can affect people, and especially bigger homes. You got to know and find out. Sometimes you got to go get a checkup. They'll come in and see, is do you have a lot of waste going in your garage? There was a family that was sitting out maybe 10% or 15% of their electric uses was going in the garage, keeping the cars
really.
cool, because they had all these vents, and the vents were pumping stuff in the garage. So people have to, you got to get a good heating and air person. Everybody, you know what? I might as well say this. Everybody needs, for your health, you need a good doctor or nutritional person. For your
Mm-hmm.
home, you need a good AC heating and air guy. Because during the winter and during the summer, trust me, that little uh, maintenance that some of them charge $25 a month is worth it. To make sure the filters, because that day the AC go out, that day the AC. Now it's the first of August. You want to see a family suffering that's used to air conditioning. I remember one of my sister-in-law, their AC went out. Man, she went on the porch. Man, that house was boiling in there. That house got hot.
Really? But then
Yes.
too, if you got some trees, you can open the windows and let that heat out. Sometimes it's hotter in the house than it is outside. So
Well,
if it's hotter inside than it is outside, open those windows
well,
and
look
let
at
the
the
air
modern day
breeze through.
family. The modern day family got uh yard deserts. They cut down all the trees because they scared that the trees gonna tear up the house, tornadoes coming through. So you sitting right down there, totally exposed from the sun. And the sun is relentless. The sun's got no mercy. Not that the sun's a bad thing, but the sun just keeping that heat. And if your AC goes out because you hadn't done the maintenance on it, whoa,
Yeah.
whoa, man, it's gonna be hot. And in your car, if you hadn't done the maintenance on your car, you do not want to be on these Atlanta streets with the radiator busting open,
But you
thermostat
know what?
busting.
We're complaining about the sun, but there are ways we can utilize the sun. For instance, if you're gonna make some tea, put your tea and your stuff in a jug and set it out there and let the sun cook it.
Oh, sun cook. Oh
And
yeah,
your vitamin D. Go outside, get some vitamin D, and this would be a good time to go bare feet too. For a look on the grass.
on the grass,
Okay,
right?
go on the ground on the grass to ground your body, and it's better. It's good for your body nutritionally. Grounding your body, getting that vitamin D in there. Vitamin D is good for your bones and for your heart and all this other stuff. You can't stay out there long,
Yeah.
but
Well,
go out there and get that vitamin D, and also to dry your clothes. If you have a clothesline in the back, save electricity. Hang your clothes out there and let it dry.
yeah.
And that saves the energy from the house also, keep you from having all that heat inside. And another thing for the heat, um, turn off all this electronic stuff, all
Ooh,
those computers and stuff that you let stay on
sucking up.
24/7. Cut them off because it's making a whole lot of heat in the house. So if you cut off everything, that will save you some energy right there. It won't be quite as hot. Just,
Well,
just doing those kind of things.
yeah. There's a lot of things that we can do. Uh, and like I said, uh, I'm kind of uh, kind of in the middle. Like I don't really need the AC to be 60 degrees in the summertime. You know what I'm saying? Some
Right.
people, it feels like they trying to cool meat out. It feel like your refrigerator. It's cold in there. I've been in some places, they got it cold. If you ever been in a hotel or a movie theater and it's freezing, some people keep their homes at
Mm-hmm.
that like that. So when they
Yeah.
are in a position where there's heat, and there's nothing to cool it down. That's why we have to prepare ourselves just in case this grid gets overloaded. They're predicting, and this is going down somewhere between now and what? September. We in August. They predicting September is going to be a hot month. Okay.
Oh,
Now, if
really?
September and October get hot, if September and October gets hot, especially between now and Labor Day or what they call dog days, when this stuff gets real hot, they say, well, can the power, uh, plants support the consumption of power from people? Okay, now when people can't cool off, whether it's in their body, their homes, or their cars, they can go nuts. In the cars, you got road rage. You got road rage. In the homes or apartments or condos where you got a cluster of people, they can start acting up because of the heat. So again, we have to put ourselves in some type of survivor mode, being ready for these type conditions.
But you know
People
what?
will
You can always go to the mall. It's
well,
cool in the mall. Go shopping
that's a
and
relief.
cool off.
They say, there's a couple of things they say you can do. If they say practice yoga, go to the movies, uh, eat some ice cubes, go for a swim. If you fortunate enough to have a cool pool or jacuzzi in your backyard, you can sit up in there. Man, they say take a nap in front of a fan. Uh, it's all kind of things that people are doing. Now, I got to put this out there. I had a neighbor. His water
Uh-huh.
bill, in my neighborhood, water bills were averaging maybe about $60. This brother had a $400 water bill.
Whoa.
Now I'm gonna tell you what he was doing. He had a conventional bathtub, and it was a big sized brother. He would fill that bathtub every day with water and drain it, and
Mm.
he just sit in there and soak because it was so hot. And this been 10 years ago. He was doing this. So, uh, I said, I said, man, goodness, you know, uh, you got to figure out a better way to stay cool, because
Yeah.
he didn't want to, but that was one of the ways that he stayed cool. And, it's a couple of things that we can do to stay cool at night. Especially if we in a situation where there's no power. Right now with the power grid, the only thing that can stop you from keeping the air on is probably the heating, the air going, the utility bill. But I'm talking about in a
Yeah.
case where you're taking care of all that, but it's getting so hot till they can't supply the needs of the people from the power plant. Okay, so we have to prepare ourselves to be ready for something like that. If you got medication, you got to be thinking. Medication operates differently in the heat than it does
Mhm.
on normal days. You say, whoa, 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 well, my insulin just looked like it's getting uh, uh, less powerful. All this is because of the heat. That's why you got to hydrate and take care of yourself as much as you can. And it's like I said, the body, the home, and the car. It's the same stuff. If you don't take care of those preventive maintenance type things on the body, preventive maintenance type things on the home or the car, it's gonna show up and show out. That means that you're gonna come into a situation, either you're gonna fall out from heat exhaustion, strokes and stuff like that, or your home is not gonna be ready, and you're gonna figure out that, hey, I should have taken care of these little things around the house to make sure we're prepared to be cool. And the same thing with your car. Uh, all
Yeah.
this type stuff.
So I know one of the things that I do to keep cool, instead of taking a hot shower, I take a lukewarm shower.
Oh yeah,
You
yeah,
know,
yeah.
yeah, because the lukewarm is almost cold, but I can't deal with cold showers.
Mm.
Lukewarm I can deal with, and that seems to cool me off some,
Yeah.
during the
Okay.
lukewarm shower. And also, when you're buying gas, it's best to buy your gas early in the morning or late in the evening. That's
Oh,
when you buy gas for your car, because in the middle of the heat itself makes gas swell.
and
So
it's evaporating before it hits the tank. You know,
yeah.
I mean, even though it's small, it's they'll tell you it's small, but it's significant enough to make you pump more gas because it's the tanks expand and contract and all this type stuff. So you got and the same thing with tire pressure,
Hmm.
all this stuff. You got to be monitoring all this stuff. You got to be on your P's and Q's, checking when the best time to fill up and all this type stuff because you're spending more money and then it'll affect you somewhere down the road.
Yeah, if your tires are not at the right pressure, then
Oh
it can cause you to burn more gas in your car. You
yes,
know, people don't realize that. So you want to keep those tires up at the right pressure. You
yes,
know, what is it, PSI?
yeah.
So keep the right amount of air in there, so
There
it won't.
and also people with electric cars. Electric cars, the batteries uh, dissipate more power loss when it's hot. Okay,
Mm,
because of the heat. The heat affects everything. You know, you, it affects the gas engines and it also affects electric generated engine. Because that heat it's hotter. And they also suggest that you don't charge them in direct heat. If you got a charging system, or that's why you see some of these charging stations. They got trees around there because not just for to get in people's heads about the trees kind of uh get you to thinking about nature, because you don't catch a gas pump with some trees around it. You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
But an electric system to get you to thinking about the environment and saving all this. So most electrical charging stations, with exception of some of them at some malls, they have a tree over there to keep it cool. Cause all
mm,
that affects the charging systems and all that type stuff. But yeah, we got to really be paying attention uh, during these next couple of months, figuring out
oh
ways
yeah,
to stay cool.
yeah, and you want to keep your body cool too. One of the things, ice.
Oh,
That's
ice packs.
good. Yeah. And so, like, if you want to get a rag, one of the things people do is wet the rag and put it around the waist, I mean the neck, to help cool their body out. But to make that rag stay cool longer, you put some ice in a little bag like this and wrap it around that rag. You just wrap it around that wet rag, you know, and put it on your neck. And that rag will stay cool longer. You don't have to keep running back when it get hot and do it because the ice is in there and it help keep you cool. So that was one of the things. And use an umbrella if you're walking somewhere outside, use an umbrella to help protect your skin because you don't want to get sunburnt. You don't want to have a heat stroke because you're going, I was out there only a minute and all of a sudden I'm just weak and throwing up and all of that. Use an umbrella and it also keep you from getting cancer. Because you don't want to burn your skin and get skin cancer later on somewhere along the line. So take care of yourself. The sunscreen, also, a lot of people don't use sunscreen, but you want to protect yourself. If you're out a lot, use the sunscreen.
Well, contrary to popular belief or myth, Black people can get sunburned. Black folk can get sunburned and cancer. Sometimes I know we on the melanin tip, but sometimes the sun could be so hot, especially if you're not used to it. Vitamin D deficiencies can cause you to have adverse reactions to the sunlight. There are people that can't go outside, during the heat of the day. They can't go outside till about after 7 o'clock, after the sun goes down. Okay. These are things that are happening, and it's more so now because our bodies, now a couple of the old schoolers, your body's been through some stuff, it's made some adjustments, but a lot of newborns, they're newborn babies that have not experienced the heat.
Yeah.
They ain't been
Now,
field kept.
I don't know about Black people not being, I don't know of any Black people who have gotten sunburned before. I know I've gotten a serious tan,
Okay.
being
We
out
can burn.
there.
Oh yeah, the sun don't play. If you stay out longer than you're supposed, that's why, first time, and this has been over 20 years ago, first time I saw a brother using sunscreen, I was like, whoa, man, what you doing? Smelling like cocoa butter and stuff like that. But anything that you can do to retard or slow down the heat and the radiation from the sun, you need to do it. So we can get sunburn. I don't care how dark a brother is. You can say, "Oh man, you can get burned." You stay in the same place for too long a period, bam. Heat
Yeah.
stroke, sunburn, heat exhaustion. Nobody's immune from it.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah. So let's go through some of the signs of overheating or dehydration. One of them is dizziness. If
Yeah.
you're out there, you're getting dizzy, nauseous. Some people get overheated and start throwing up. So that's one. Confusion. When someone is confused about where they are and what's going on, that's a sign. Heat stroke, overheated. So you want to get them in a cool place and cool them off. If they're fainting, that's another sign. Fainting, headaches, so if they got headaches, dehydrate. That's the main thing. Hydrate, hydrate, hydrate. Okay. Fatigue. So if you going around and say, I'm so tired, I don't know why I'm so tired. Maybe because you don't have enough water in you. So hydrate. Get some water in you so you won't be that way. And if your temperature getting real high, more than 99.4, if you get up to 100, well, 98, if you get up to 100 and something like that, you're overheated. Okay, so you want to get into a cool place.
Right.
Because and then a rapid heartbeat is another one. Your heart's beating fast. That's a sign right there. Muscle cramps. Believe it or not, when you start dehydrating, you can get muscle cramps. So put that that stuff in you. Magnesium is also good for muscle cramps too, but you want to hydrate your body, get those electrolytes in there. And if you're always feeling real thirsty, thirst, hydrate. Of course, you real thirsty. Sometimes that can be a sign of diabetes as well. But
Right.
you want to hydrate your body so you won't be thirsty. Your body tells you when you need water. Okay.
Right.
Again, the heart beating fast, weakness.
Right.
Also, when your feet and hands are swelling, that's that heat edema.
Mm.
Okay, there's sometimes you got regular edema, then there's heat edema. Heat edema is when your hands and feet are swelling up from the heat. So that's another sign you want to get rid of. Okay, and then again, I did say diuretic. If you're taking diuretic pills, to make you pee a lot. You want to slow that down if you're drinking coffee and all that other stuff. And the heat itself is pulling water off your body. You're
Mm.
constantly sweating, even though you might feel slightly moist right now. You don't see in the sweat, but you can feel it. So your body's dehydrating already, and a
Well,
lot of people don't even know it. The heat is just evaporating. The water is evaporating from your body just
yep.
from the heat itself. So you want to keep that in you. Keep your body hydrated all the time. 2 or 3 bottles of water. Drink all the time. Just keep it on you. And so that's about what I have. And if you see somebody passing out, sprinkle some water on them. Something, fan them, put them in the shade. Reggie said don't put ice on them, but cool them off as much as possible.
Yeah. You don't
No,
want to freeze them. You don't want to give them a
yeah,
brain freeze. That's not good for the rest of the body, the heart, all this stuff. That's different shocks will cause the body to go into another reaction. That's why the cool down effect is necessary. Gradually walking them down, cooling down the temperatures, restoring them to, a temperature that can support them.
yeah, and just eat fruits, cold fruit. That would do it. Frozen fruits. The kids love the frozen pops now. Would you buy these little things and you put the juice in there or your frozen
Oh
fruit
yes.
and freeze it and eat that? That's a good way to cool off. And just eating cold watermelon. I love cold watermelon. And cold
Yeah.
grapes. People freeze grapes, eat frozen grapes. All those things will cool you off and it's good for you. It's better for you than the sodas.
Oh
You
yeah,
know,
it's a lot of treats you can do with a watermelon. I seen somebody cut everything out and pour some fruit cocktail down in there, cut up strawberries and fill it with Jello.
yeah,
Then you had
yeah.
a watermelon that had grapes, all kind of fruit in there. It's a very tasty treat for young people. Plus, it's gonna keep them hydrated. Powerful.
Yeah, yeah, it is. So that's going to be it. What else you want to add to it before we close out tonight?
Make sure you like, subscribe, and share. I know it's hot over here, Square Mile Media, Atlanta. Uh, Also, support us and take care of yourself. It's hot out here. It's gonna get. Some people gonna be taking their clothes off, streaking, all kind of stuff. It's gonna get hot. It was hot when it started. It's gonna get hotter before we finish. Get
Oh
ready.
yeah, yeah. And I just want to say, keep cool. The best you can. And one of the things you want to do when you're traveling, that sun gonna be burning down, beaming down on your arm, burning you up. Wear long sleeves to help protect your skin from that sun. What I do when I'm traveling, I do a white long sleeve shirt. So when that sun is beaming, it's hitting the shirt directly, rather than my skin directly, and it helps keep me from being burnt. Sometimes I use a shirt or something just to to shield me
Hmm.
from the sun, while I'm driving. So you try to do what you can to protect yourself, protect your eyes, with sunglasses, so
Mm-hmm.
you won't mess up your eyes. It's so important that you protect your body. Protect your
That's true.
body, cool it off, get in the hot tub, not tub, pool when you can, because it'll help cool you off. But then you know what? With this heat, there's algae and all that kind of stuff is growing in some of these pools. So you want to make sure the water is blue and not green. When you get in the water, make sure it's clean water. They don't have algae in there growing and all that kind of stuff. Because that can happen too if it's getting too hot. Okay? So until next week, we're going to say, pick up my book, Power Thoughts, and keep cool. And we're going to see you next week.